I think it's really important that you use good quality cables when you're doing any type of recording. You're going to want to avoid those 99-cent eBay deals. They're just not going to give you the sound quality that you're looking for. The brand that I'm really happy with is Monster Cable. I've had some of these cables for 20 plus years and I'm still using them. So we're going to use a really high quality Monster cable today. This is 3.5 to some phone adapters, and we're going to be using a 1/4 inch adapter to go from headphone out. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to record into the iPad Mini 2, and this is plugged into the Novation Audio Hub 2x4. We've taken our Monster cable and we've plugged it into the input on the front of the Audio Hub. We're going to go ahead and take our headphone jack. We're going to plug this into the output of our laptop audio, which currently is coming from a Focusrite Scarlett interface. We're going to plug this into the headphone out. Okay, we're good to go. This setup allows us to adjust the input level even though we don't have a knob for that on the front of the Novation. All we have to do is adjust the output of the headphone jack here on the Scarlett, and that's going to be our audio input signal level. Let's record a drum loop out of the laptop onto pad 1 in Beatmaker 3. This is just an empty session in Beatmaker 3, and this is just an empty bank. We're going to press the second icon to get down into the sampler page, and we're going to press the record button. This is going to bring up the audio recorder page. I've already got it set, but to get it recording input audio from the Audio Hub, we will click the recording source and hardware input, and we'll select Audio Hub 1 and 2. Now let's play the drum loop that we want to record from the laptop. And you'll notice here that there isn't any audio signal. And what we need to do is simply just turn the headphone output up on the Scarlett. And you'll see that the level is starting to come into Beatmaker 3. Once we're happy with the level, we're going to go ahead and press start. And we'll press stop. And there we have our drum loop recorded. Alright, let's see if we can do some editing on this and get it sliced up to some drum pads. We're going to click the edit button. And first off, we're going to click process. We're going to click normalize. And we're going to click apply. It's going to give us full volume of our drum loop. It's also going to make it a little bit easier for us to see while we're editing. I like to turn the zero snap off. That's just a personal preference, so I can get more finite adjustments here. We're going to zoom in, and we're going to adjust the end point of the loop here. Whoops. By grabbing the end and dragging it all the way over. And we'll zoom right up in on that beginning of measure 5. We'll get right on the line, and we will trim. Okay. To help our trimming be extra accurate, we're going to zoom right in on the very beginning of the sample, and you can see as we zoom in all the way here that there's a tiny bit of space. And what we're going to do again with our snap off is we're going to get right in there and we're going to trim that, and we'll zoom back out again. And this is really going to help our transients line up exactly with the grid. Now that we got it pretty well trimmed, let's go ahead and try to slice this to some pads. We'll go ahead and X this out. We'll zoom back out here so we can get a better view of the full loop. We're going to click slice mode. We're going to click slice mode. We're going to click auto slice. And let's try split. Oh, how about we split into 32 pieces? Cool, that looks pretty good. Let's auto slice, and we will save Slice to pads, current bank, start on pad 1. We don't need a choke group and we don't need to create a pattern, so apply, and here we have it. Alright, now we can program any kind of beats we want. And if you want to get really precise on some of these chops, we can go in and do some individual editing. So we'll go back to the sample page, and let's say we want to zoom in on this chop here. We'll go to the edit screen, and we can play our chop. We can zoom in on the very beginning, and you can see if we zoom in all the way, if we turn our zero snap off, we could even get closer on the transient. So if we want to record a little beat now, I've set the BPM down to 90. Our original drum loop was at 100 BPM. Get some swing on there. Cool. Let's go ahead and record some pad sounds into Beatmaker 3 now. I've pulled up a pad in Dune 2 that I've made. And we're going to sample this into Beatmaker 3. Let's go ahead and relabel bank A, drums. And we're going to add another bank, B. We're going to go ahead and relabel this pad. Okay. And let's say we want to go ahead and record onto the first pad. I'm going to go back to the sampler page and press record. We're already set for the audio hub. And let's see how our level looks. Could probably use a little bit more, so I'm going to turn that up. We're going to go ahead and press start. And I want to get 4 long hits. That was an F minor. That was a C minor. There was an F minor an octave higher. And there's a C minor an octave higher. Now we can go ahead and just chop those out to pads, and we have 4 pad samples ready to go with our beat. Okay, now that we've got the pad recorded, let's go ahead and save this. We're going to go ahead and save this sample in our main sample directory, and we'll give it a name here. We're going to call this Dune 2 Pad. Okay, and we're saving in the main sample directory. Now this is convenient because what we're going to want to do is go to our sample directory, samples, and here we have it, Dune 2 Pad. And we're going to drag this 4 times because we have 4 samples that we want to go ahead and trim out. We'll start with the first one. We'll hit edit. And trim. We'll get a zoom in here right to that beginning. We're way zoomed in here. There we go. And we'll take that 0 snap off and we'll zoom in just a little bit more. Right about there. and we'll trim. We'll hit select. We'll grab just a bit of the beginning, and we'll process and fade in. Great. Whoop. Sounds good. All right. We'll repeat that process. This is the second pad. And we'll start zooming in. You get the idea. We're going to do this for all 4. Now that we've got our pads trimmed out to the separate pads here, pads to the pads, we're going to go ahead and assign those to the same choke group. That way when one sample plays, it will stop the others from playing. We can pretty much just pick any choke group for these. We'll assign all of them to choke group 1. And now they stop each other. Alright, let's do just a tiny bit of tweaking to these pads. We're going to click the Effects tab. We're going to click Add Effect, and we are going to add a 6-band EQ. I have a default processor, which just kind of cuts off a default preset rather, which just cuts off some of the lows and has some of the frequencies that I like to cut out really easily to get to, like 500 frequencies. 500 hertz rather. We can do a little 2 decibel dip with a bandshell filter out of the middle, just to give us a little bit more room in the mids. And then we're going to add a reverb, and we will add a stereo delay. We'll move that stereo delay, whoops, above the reverb, right off the jump. That'll be a little cooler. Always good to save your work so you don't lose anything. We're going to click the menu button up here. We're going to click Save. We're going to click Save Session and Samples as. This is going to embed the samples into our session. Let's just call this Pads and Breaks. Cool. And now, we'll do that quite often. Save Session and Samples. This way we won't lose our work. Okay, here we are in song mode. Let's go ahead and get that pad in. We'll take our drum pattern. We're going to duplicate that out. And we're going to take our loop brace there. Give ourselves an 8-bar loop. And let's hit record. Here we go. Let's hit record. Drag that out one more, can we? No? We'll go into here and make that an 8 then. Come here, you. There we go. Alright, looking good. Remember I said we're going to be saving a lot? Let's do that now. We'll hit the menu, Save, Save Session, and Samples. Alright. I've picked another preset from my Event Horizon sound bank for Dune 2. This is a bass called Tic Tac. I've set up to record in Beatmaker 3, and we're going to go ahead and jam over it. Here we go. And here's the bass we just recorded. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and slice this out to some pads so we can get to some arranging. I've trimmed out 6 of those bass notes, And let's go ahead and put those on the same choke group so that they do not allow each other to play over each other. When each one plays, it will mute any of the others that are playing. So we get a mono bass. Now the reason I like to chop up the bass sounds like this is that we can really easily use these chops to program all sorts of different patterns. It doesn't have to be just one bass line from the loop that we played. You can program all sorts of bass lines from these notes, and whatever you program is going to be in key. Alright. And I can't say it enough, don't forget to save. So save session, and samples. Alright. Okay, I've selected another sound from my Event Horizon sound bank for Dune 2. This is a lead, and it's called Frick Frack. We're getting a pretty good level here. We will go ahead and record this onto a brand new bank. This is bank D. We're going to press play, get our song playing. We're going to press start, and Beatmaker 3 is going to wait for the threshold signal to reach over this line, and it will start recording in time. So we're going to let it zip around to the downbeat, and we'll start recording. Here we go. Cool. Now, we can go back through and do all sorts of editing on that. Pick out the parts we like, trim sections to pads, have all sorts of fun. And we certainly don't want to lose what we just recorded. So let's go ahead and save the session. Save session, and samples. Do that often. One last thought here is it's really easy to just press record, scroll through a whole bunch of presets, and record a whole bunch of chops onto one track. And let's do just that. We're going to go ahead and press record on Beatmaker 3, and we're just going to scroll through presets and scroll through presets, play a little tiny bit of each one so we can get a whole bunch in one take. So this is what we recorded here. And now you can just go through, chop those out, keep the stuff you like, and you've got all sorts of variety to quickly add into the track. Okay, now don't forget to subscribe for more Beatmaker 3 shenanigans. Click the subscribe button. Thank you.